My husband is a serial cheater and liar who keeps cheating on me and doesn't plan to stop. We have kids and a good life together. Is it okay to just look the other way? I, 38 female, have been with my husband Brian, 42 male, for 20 years this November. We've been married for 14 years and we have 4 littles. Our youngest is only 8 months, boy, and we have 3 girls between 5 and 12. My husband runs his own business and is really successful at his job, and our lives are very comfortable. We have a $700K home, great new cars, and our children have everything they possibly could want. I've never cheated on Brian. He, on the other hand. I caught him cheating when we were first dating. Forgave him. Caught him with another woman when our oldest daughter was 6 months old. Found out he was cheating through his email in 2006 with another woman. Did not confront that time. There are a few more incidents over the years, but in total I know he has cheated on me with at least 8 other women. Probably a lot more, but I haven't caught everything. He travels a lot for work too. The first time I caught him he begged me to take him back and it would never happen again. The second time I asked him to move out and we separated for 3 months, but I let him back after he promised he was reformed. Rinse. Repeat. I stopped confronting after a while because I wasn't going to divorce him and he wasn't going to stop. I really don't know why he cheats. I have sex with him whenever he wants. We do have 4 kids for a reason. I think I'm a good wife. I've been supportive of him in his business. I've been a good mom and raised our kids, sometimes alone. It's not like I don't care that he cheats. I hate it. It crushes me. But I'm numb now. The good thing with Brian is he is a great provider. Our family has everything we possibly could want because of how good he is at his job. He is a really great father too. He isn't here as much as he could be, but when he is always involved with the kids and our kids love him, as they should. He is still my best friend after all this time. We can make each other laugh at the most stressful times, and cheating aside, we have a pretty happy marriage. My question is it okay to just look the other way with his cheating? Is it pathetic? TL, Dr. My husband of 14 years has had multiple affairs. We have a good life otherwise. Is it okay to stay with him despite the cheating? I, 28 female, am married to a 32 male, serial cheater. Do they ever stop? This is hard to write as I know how illogical all of this is. I always said I would run if I ever suspected cheating in a relationship. So here I am, married at 28 to a 32-year-old man who clearly has been cheating since we were dating. So here is the long story, sorry. When we first started dating, I found text messages between him and what was clearly an escort that had occurred over a period of 2 months. One of the exchanges went along these lines. When are you available? Whenever. Cool. I'll call you when I leave. When I confronted him about this, he first said she was just a friend. Then I explained that I ran the number and that it was an escort, to which he admitted that yes, it was an escort. He said he used to see them frequently, during his last relationship, but that now he just visited the sites, texted, and called them as some sort of a bad habit. He never admitted to cheating physically and he swore up and down he would never do this again. A couple months later, during which time we have gotten engaged, I find that he actually called a different escort the week after I found the texts. He says that he thought I knew about that one and that I had the timelines mixed up. I know in my head that I am right, but I wanted so badly to believe him. Cut to many months later, we have gotten married and have a house. I find him messaging escorts on Yahoo Messenger, clearly in an attempt to hide at this time as opposed to the other times. He swears he just messaged them, but nothing ever happened and that he realized how he needed therapy. We do go to therapy, but our life during this time was hellish. I didn't ever believe he was just messaging them. I would beg him to tell me the truth and he maintained his stories. He also made me feel terrible about feeling distrustful of him. I was this horrible person that didn't care about his feelings when his whole world revolved around my happiness. It was to the point that I went to therapy to work through my issues that I felt were destroying our relationship. Last week, I couldn't take it anymore. I knew I was right about the cheating. I was exhausted from denying the truth to myself, and I was exhausted from being beaten down with his lies. I told him that I knew he was lying and that if he doesn't want to be honest, then it was over. Being backed into a corner, he admitted that when I had found the first text messages he had cheated that time. He swore that I now knew everything and that was the only time it happened. I left and didn't contact him for several days. When I did, I told him that I wanted the whole truth. I knew that wasn't everything and that if uttered the words that was everything, I would walk out the door and never come back. Here again, backed into a corner, he admitted that when I found the phone calls the second time that he had a threesome with some escorts. Of course, I got the now you know everything and I swear that is it. He begged and begged to go to counseling and that I was all he ever wanted. He even drafted a postnuptial agreement, he is an attorney, where it states that if he sleeps with or contacts an escort in any way then I get everything and we have it signed and notarized. He swears that he has changed his behavior and all he wants is to be a good husband to me. I still knew this wasn't the whole truth and that night I told him that I would be looking for apartments the next day. As you can guess, I got another confession. He admitted that he had gone to a massage parlor the week after our second fight over this, and that he had slept with another woman about 2 months after we got married. Of course he swears this is the whole truth, but honestly who cares? I haven't even been able to cry over this. I feel almost relieved and validated. I can't tell you how many fights we had where he would call me crazy and a psychopath for not believing his lies. And he does lie about everything. It's his natural reaction to things from his childhood with a mother who had narcissistic personality disorder with borderline tendencies. Anything that ever happened, for example, spilling a drink on the floor or forgetting a towel at summer camp, was the end of world and she would fly off the handle in a manic state for days. I understand how this developed, but I fear that he also has NPD and that there is no cure or treatment for this. Part of me pities him for this, but the other side sees the pure hell he put me through and doesn't care. He belittled my feelings and instincts in an attempt to cover himself, and he did this without any remorse or guilt. The only way I ever found out was because I found the evidence. It is not like he came forward because the guilt was eating at him. Additionally, I have a friend who is currently cheating on her husband and I have been struggling with what to do, so I had been talking to my husband about it. He was so appalled and disgusted by her actions and called her every ugly name in the book all while he was doing the same thing. This to me shows that he has some sort of separate reality from the one the rest of us live in day to day. He has already made appointments with a couples counselor and a personal counselor. I just don't think there is any point. I think he is a helpless narcissist and that he will never truly get better. I think he is incapable of telling the truth. Regardless, I have made an appointment with another counselor for myself because I clearly have some things to work through if this is the person that I was attracted to. I know that. I also know, again, how crazy all of this sounds, but I guess all I am asking is, can a leopard ever change its spots? TL.DR. My husband is a narcissist and I am an idiot. Did my actions turn my husband into a monster? I feel like what I did to my husband turned both of us into monsters. I don't know if anyone will read this, but if you do, thank you. I'm hoping that sharing my story with you will make me feel slightly more human again. I met my SO almost 9 years ago. I fell in love with his humor and charm before I ever saw his face. Unfortunately, at the time I met him, I was experimenting with alcohol and sex for the first time in my incredibly sheltered life. While pursuing a relationship with him long distance, I cheated on him multiple times. I quickly realized that this wasn't a life I enjoyed and committed myself to him. But not before he found out and was devastated by my infidelity. Since this dark time in our lives, I have been completely loyal to him. I knew it would take time to earn his trust back, if I even could, but I did my best. Unfortunately, this has become a recurring excuse for his extramarital relations. He has slept with more than 10 people that I know of. I'm certain he has lied about more. This isn't even including the countless people he's sexted or flirted with or exchanged explicit photos with. The only reason I know about these people is because they either reached out to me or I saw proof. He only confirms once there is no shadow of a doubt, leaving me to constantly question myself and my instincts. He has also always said it was my fault for getting angry with him or for not having sex enough, or that he felt I didn't care enough about him so he had to sought that comfort elsewhere. He also feels that he should not have to contribute to the household chores, nor is he consistent with helping pay bills, despite us both working full-time jobs. Against my better judgment, I married him, had a child with him, and am now expecting another. The cheating never stops. There's just moments of peace where I see the life I always dreamed of, and then I'm being pushed over the edge again. I have become a woman that gets angry and texts the other woman. I am the woman that is incredibly upset and miserable, but can't seem to get it together enough to leave. Last night after he went on a work trip and ignored me for 48 hours, I got mad and I threw his things at the wall after my son went to bed. If it weren't for my amazing son and the baby I'm carrying, I would have lost the will to leave. And despite all of this, I still love him. Why? I don't know. Maybe I still love the idea of him and who I thought he could be, and I'm just misdirecting that. Please tell me, Reddit, is there any coming back from this? I hate myself. I don't know if I'll ever be able to heal and have a normal relationship again. Am I even worthy of one? Can I get away? Is there anyone else out there that has been me at some point in their lives? I hope not for your sake, but if you have advice or are willing to share your story, I could really use it right now. Husband cheated for the 4th time. But now we have a baby. I'm so heartbroken and wrecked. When my husband, 22 male, and I, 22 female, got married, we were both barely 20 years old. We'd been in love since we were 16 and it was a spur-of-the-moment decision because he was joining the military. Needless to say, he wasn't ready. He emotionally cheated on me multiple times and even had physically cheated on me with 2 different women in the first 3 months of our marriage. Despite this, I didn't find out until 5 months later when we were doing the best in our relationship than ever. So I decided that he had learned from his mistakes since we were doing so well. So I give him another chance and we move from Texas to California. He once again doesn't know how to be in a relationship with me and he has a lusting problem. Looking at other girls online and looking to get way too deep in his female friendships. So he stops paying attention to me basically. We have some good times and some bad times, but then I get pregnant. After I have our baby this past July, things really start looking up for a long time. We start couples therapy and we're doing amazing. Well, I took our now 7-month-old son to his grandma's for a month because of the pandemic near us. The night before he is going to come pick us up from the airport, he gets drunk at his friend's house and kisses a girl. This was a week ago and he just told me yesterday. He says I've also not been extremely attractive to him for about 4 years because I've been slowly gaining weight. This is so shitty. He says he's willing to dive in 100% and says he just realized a lot about how he's been treating me the past year, but I don't believe him obviously. I just feel like I'm going to get hurt again. I keep getting so freaking mad and just wanting to be held while I cry, but I literally have no one but him here. I love him and I want to make this work, but I don't know how. I'm doing everything I can and I don't know when enough is enough. We've been so weird since he told me to. I've laughed with him and yelled at him, cried, threw up. I don't know how to act and I'm freaking out. I'm so scared and I have no one to tell this to. My father was a serial womanizer when we were growing up. I'm not going to play innocent because obviously I have my own issues with infidelity and my first marriage broke up over that. What I think is important, however, is that knowing that this person has that problem from now, you've got to protect your kid. People talk about how pregnancy termination is bad. Well, cheating is just as bad. It really is like killing your child's spirit and there are many aftershocks unfortunately that may never be repaired. It doesn't matter if you keep it hidden from your kid, or you explain nicely that mommy and daddy are gonna divorce. Your kid will sense that something is off and people don't understand how much and how deep the scars of infidelity can pierce and scar children. After years of therapy, in one session I could really recollect how, as a young boy, I remember having thoughts that my dad was somehow disconnected from my mom. Obviously he was screwing around on her and I didn't know this. But deep down I knew, he didn't love and respect her. And that, my friend, has left me with a huge void and inconceivable shame that I don't think is possible to fix in this lifetime or the next. My husband is a serial cheater and has no intentions of stopping. Need support. I am looking for support as I have just decided that I cannot tolerate my situation any longer. I have been married for 8 years and have one 6-year-old child. I have had indications of my husband's cheating on and off all this time, always met with denial and minimizing of situations. My husband and I speak different languages, so I didn't think much of not being friends with him on FB as he posts in his language. He looks single in his FB profile and never posts pictures of my child or me, and no relationship status, and he has said it is to protect us. He always has chats with girls in his language on Messenger. I have grown used to thinking of him as a flirt, but with no real evidence of a physical romance. These females are usually in his country as a rule and we are in Europe, so they cannot see each other. However, as they are Muslim, they cannot go out dating and are usually looking for a husband. I used to think he was looking for a new wife, with the intention of leaving me, but we have been together 8 years and he insists he only wants to be married to me. When I was pregnant, I found SMSs related to a real love affair, but he kept insisting it was his friend using his phone. Also, when he emptied his car when he bought a new one, out came a spare phone with a charger. Lots of little clues of this sort, SIM cards lying around and stuff like that. He always goes out with really wild cousins who are confirmed cheaters but insists that he is not one. Anyway, the final straw came during our summer holidays in his country and the past few weeks. I went to charge my phone and saw a WhatsApp message on his phone from a female name. I guessed his code and got it right the first time. I found round-the-clock conversations with her that were only interrupted by a few hours sleep, like from the morning till 2 a.m. for example. It was about 11 p.m. and he had a party to go to. I confronted him about it and he told me he met her the previous week, a mutual person gave her his number. We had a terribly emotional talk, and he promised me it was the last, and he would stop, saying he never wanted to hurt me, he doesn't know why he does that, etc. He then left for his party. I didn't sleep. I looked at his phone the next day and after he left for his party, he conversed with her for 2 hours. The day after, he changed his code. I don't think he is going to stop. If anyone understands Moroccan Arabic, I would love a translation. I also have her first name and her photo and phone number and wonder what I can do with what I have just to even out the playing field. I never sent her any message, but I would love to out her to her highly conservative entourage. I know it is childish and unimportant, but I really feel abused by everyone. I only have my husband and his family, and now it seems they are all protecting his lifestyle and I am truly alone. I gave up everything to be with him, including any friends, and never speak to male friends I had previously. I really am the archetypal dutiful wife and I have no pleasures, only duties. I have a full-time job, I do all the cooking and the cleaning and he has a nice relaxed life. I have done everything to make him happy. I never nag and always let him do what he wants. Right now he thinks I cannot leave him. I am very gentle and have only spoken softly to him, without exposing anything to the people around us, and I said I can't bear to think of starting over without him, and I am just living with what I know. What he doesn't know is that I intend finding out more and want to be very careful in planning the divorce. I have sent myself the WhatsApp conversation and am waiting to spy on the new code when he thinks I am not looking so I can catch him again after his promises, and store the information again to use against him. I really am feeling down and out and all I can think of is my poor little kid and the perfect life I planned for her going down the drain.